If you are committed to growing a magical business in order to achieve every dream you ever had, the terrible truth is you're going to need to do plenty of things that you really don't want to. And if you're a sensitive soul, as most magical people are, you'll want to do so in a way that doesn't trigger you into the trauma response of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So exactly how are we supposed to make progress when some tasks are so damnably difficult? Stay tuned. My name is Anna Bellissima. I am an extremely powerful magician, as of course are you. I am a writer and a shaman of words, and my purpose here is to equip you with the tools and concepts you need to achieve your heart's desires. As usual, if you are an exceptionally bright person with a negligible attention span, like me, adjust the playback on this lesson to 1.25 or even 1.5 speed and buckle up. I'm going to give you my 4-step process that I use myself and teach to my clients to do things we hate without making matters worse. For the purposes of this explanation, I'm going to use the example of marketing and advertising because in my extensive experience, this is the task that my clients find so very difficult. You can, of course, use your wild and brilliant imagination to replace it with any other task that you resist and avoid. The first thing we need to do is note our own feelings towards the subject in an abstract way, rather than in a personal way. Needless to say, if you cast negative moral judgments all over the very necessary task of promoting your business, you're going to find it extremely difficult to motivate yourself, difficult to write effectively, and certainly very difficult to publish anything. As you can imagine, as a professional copywriter, I am frequently hired to write other people's sales pages, web pages, and other marketing assets. Sometimes for them, their negative beliefs about marketing, despite intellectually understanding the necessity of it, after all, they have paid me handsomely, are so great that their shadows throw up all kinds of blocks to remain stuck and avoid going ahead with the project, despite having invested thousands of pounds and many, many hours. It's incredibly common and very understandable. In the prevailing culture, we're encouraged to consider marketers like me as pretty sleazy and associate words like dishonest, unscrupulous, manipulative, greedy, and bad. Try introducing yourself as a marketer when you meet people at a party when their responses are loosened by a couple of cocktails and see the response you get. I dare say this has been many marketers' introduction to shadow work. The world hates and deplores us. We are tricksters, one and all. But of course, so is our beloved Mercury, god of communication and trade and making a lot of money very quickly. So rather than spending time trying to convince you that advertising and marketing are actually morally aspirational and a pathway to transcendence, instead, I encourage you to explore how you could learn to feel okay with having those judgments leveled at you by others or even by yourself. How could you even decide that it feels good in a kinky way to not just invoke the trickster, but to become them? Because at some point, if you are effectively and vigorously promoting your work, it's very likely that someone will question your scruples, most certainly including your old friend, the inner critic. And with emphasis and passion, so what? When you are deeply approving of everything you're doing, judgment is water off the proverbial duck's back, and you can passionately not give a shit. It is impossible for anyone to shame you unless you are already ashamed. When unashamed, their commentary is entirely irrelevant. No professional marketer worth their salt would ever consider writing about typical results, only about the best possible outcomes. Is that entirely honest and transparent? Of course not, but focusing on average results will lead to the bombing of the marketing campaign, no sales, the possible collapse of the business or at least the product, and then precisely no one will be able to avail themselves of the transformative potential that some people do experience. Assume agency on the part of your audience. They are grown-ups who understand that they are reading promotional text. They are also entirely capable of making their own decisions on how they spend their money. So here we are, arriving at the question at hand: how to do something you hate without making matters worse. Maybe you don't hate marketing, but in your business, there will be some part that you loathe, whether it be bookkeeping or strategic planning. Whatever kind of task it is that gets you stuck in a bottleneck, let's not forget indecision, perfectionism, procrastination, all are behaviors triggered by fear, a painful emotion and one we understandably work hard to avoid. While I never advocate for anyone to re-traumatize themselves while their nervous systems are activated, outside of those times, it is worth noting that our ability to manage difficult tasks directly correlates to our capacity to manage painful or difficult emotions. That capacity will vary hugely from person to person and at the individual level from day to day. So for any mission-critical task that you are not able to delegate, try this very abbreviated protocol for attention focusing. 1. Ground yourself in your body and notice that you are safe. Hug yourself, look around the room, observe your surroundings, breathe into your feet and your tailbone. Do tapping or EFT, self-inquiry, the work of Byron Katie, on statements like, I can't do this, or this is too difficult for me, I might as well give up, or I am just not cut out for success. Marketing specific topics might be, I must always be 100% honest and show all sides of any argument, or it is wrong and bad of me to try to influence people. It is sleazy to promote my thing. And so on. And may I remind you, millions of people pay very well indeed to experience sleaze, so why not embrace it for the wicked fun that it is? Write on a sticky note the one very clearly defined task you are working on. This should be something extremely specific. Sort out my promotion messaging is very unhelpful as it gives no information about the steps involved. Whereas write one promotional email featuring a client's story is a very much clearer task. Place the sticky note on the side of your computer screen as a visual aid should you find yourself off task. Take a few deep breaths and visualize your heart glowing, radiating from every pore until you are emanating as your most powerful and magical self. Set a timer for just 15 minutes, and until the timer goes off, devote yourself to the task with exquisitely close attention to every aspect as if you were studying with a learned master. You are. Pay particular notice to the subtleties, the nuances, and the messages that the difficult parts have for you. Reflect that for some people, the very parts you hate are the parts they adore, and make it your task to discover just what it is that captivates them so. As with anything we set out to learn, familiarity, understanding, and confidence in it take time and practice. After a mere 15 minutes, you may wish to take a break and congratulate yourself, but you might also decide that the task was very much less agonizing than you had imagined and decide to carry on. Nobody is judging you except you. I believe in you. Beautiful soul, I truly hope that this little lesson has helped you on your path to unstoppable magical power. I can't wait to see what you have in store for the world. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe for more life-changing lessons. I love you, and I will see you next time.